What's going on, guys? My name is John, and today I'm going to be making a video on my experience buying a car with Vroom. Um, so for anybody watching this video, I'm assuming that you are either looking for a new car or you've actually looked at Vroom specifically and are kind of concerned maybe about reviews you've seen about Vroom, or maybe you know nothing about Vroom. If you have done research on Vroom, you would see that the reviews for the company are not that great. Um, so I kind of want to talk about my experience. I have ordered a car and I've gotten it. I just haven't gone through the full process yet, such as getting it registered, which I know is one of the points of the company that that's kind of where they get their bad reviews from. I just started the registration process, so I cannot speak for it yet. I will do an update video. I just kind of wanted to do a video of the actual car buying process while it was still fresh on my mind, and even then I've kind of forgotten some of the things. So for those of you who don't know, Vroom is an online car buying website. You can buy basically any vehicle online, and they will ship it to your house. So it kind of eliminates the hassle of going to a car dealership and dealing with used car salesmen, and all of that. Now, what I will say is you cannot buy a new car from Vroom or Carvana, which is their competitor, if you want to call them that. So if you're looking for a new car, this isn't going to be for you. Now, if you are looking for a used car, then I would suggest one of the options is looking online. The advantage to looking online is, say you want to buy a Ford Mustang. Now, if you're on Auto Trader, you might find the perfect Ford Mustang. So say like this Ford Mustang, you find this one, but it's 1,000 miles away, and the only way you can get it is by flying there and looking at it and then test driving it. And then what if there's something wrong, and then you have to then drive all the way back home or fly all the way back home without a car. The nice thing about Vroom is you could just go on here and look at all these cars. It doesn't matter where they're at, and you could have them shipped to you. Now, the car that I bought was not free shipping. I'm looking at all these, and a lot of them are free shipping, which is nice. So depending on where you buy them from, you may or may not get free shipping. I can't speak for that. Depends on your vehicle that you're buying. But it's pretty simple. I can't go through the process because I still have a purchase pending technically on the vehicle that I bought, so I can't really show you. But basically, say you decide you want this vehicle, it gives you a lot of information, and you can actually view the Carfax on the vehicle as well. So if you click on that, it'll bring up the Carfax, and you can look at all of that. Vroom provides that for you and gives you kind of a lot of the specs of the vehicle. What I would suggest before buying on Vroom, because I've heard this from some people, I did not have this problem, but maybe some of the features that you're expecting that it may say it has doesn't come on the vehicle. Now, the vehicle I ended up buying is a 2020 Chevy Sonic. I researched them inside and out, so I knew what level package came with what features, so that way I wasn't surprised when I got the vehicle. Now, however, the listing of my car, which I wish I could pull up, but I cannot because it's now taken down, none of the features that were listed were not in the vehicle or vice versa. So everything was correct. I've just heard that for some people that hasn't been the case, so maybe something to look out for. I just recommend, regardless of where you're buying a vehicle, to do a lot of research on it, so that way you kind of know what you're getting. So the process is quite easy. You just simply click the get started button down here, and it will ask you for your information, and then it'll talk about financing. Financing on Vroom, they partner with a bunch of banks, whereas if you buy a car from Carvana, they do their own financing. Carvana has their own financing, but Vroom, they partner with, I think it's like 10 or so banks, And then when you go on there to get approved for financing, it'll give you a list of companies that approve your terms, basically. So depending, you put down a down payment and they check your credit score, all that stuff, same as any other car dealership would be. And then if you get a loan, you can click on that and accept it. They'll ask you if you want to buy any of their extended warranties, all that stuff, which I denied all that. But they ask you that online first if you want any of that stuff, and then you have to place a down payment. Well, not a down payment, sorry, a non-refundable deposit, basically, to hold the vehicle, which in my case was $250. I believe it's the same for any vehicle. I'm not sure though. That is non-refundable. Your down payment is refundable, obviously. So in my case, I put $3,000 down, and it added that $249 to the down payment. So my down payment was still an even $3,000. However, if I were to decided that I wanted to return my vehicle, I'd only get the $2,750 back. They'd keep that $249. They do. Just something that I'd want you guys to know in case you go to buy a vehicle and don't like it. I also believe the delivery fee is non-refundable, but in a situation like this Mustang, you don't have to worry about it because it's free delivery. So I started a little doc here, a little Google Doc, not very high speed, but I kind of wanted to break down what happened when I bought my vehicle. So I started the buying progress August 29th. So August 29th was the day that I hit the get started button and just went through. I recall it taking like 30 minutes, maybe an hour to buy a car online. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. And so I just, placed the order on August 29th. That night, it was pretty late at night. I feel like I stayed up pretty late. It was like 11 o'clock at night, maybe, when I got it done. Excuse me. And yeah, so I did that August 29th, the night of the 29th. And then I woke up on the 30th and I received a phone call from Vroom. And the gentleman, I would classify him as a salesman, kind of walked me through what the steps were going to be, which I'll kind of get into. But the phone call kind of had that in detail. Here's what to expect, yada, yada, yada. And then he turned into the salesman trying to sell me the insurances and stuff that I denied. And they're kind of pushy on that. So I guess if I have a negative review so far, that would be it. Up to that point, my experience was fine. But that, I guess, was the only annoying thing. But I get it. It's what they got to do. They're trying to make the company money. And so they're a salesman. They try to get you to buy. There's a bunch of different insurances and stuff, which you'll see when you go to purchase a vehicle. It lists all of them, and you could deny all of those. In my case, I wasn't worried because I kind of have a unique case. My car that I bought was a 2020 Chevy Sonic with 1,800 miles on it. So it's still under the factory warranty. So I wasn't really worried about getting their coverage and stuff because I knew that I was covered through GM still and will be for a while. And I did so much research on the car that I knew what I was getting. If you're not somebody that researches common problems with the car, then maybe you should think about getting the insurance. Just in that case, if something goes wrong that you're not expecting, you could then have it fixed through Vroom. I don't know how all that stuff works because I didn't get those options, but just to let you guys know that is something you guys can do. So anyways, I got this phone call on the 30th, and he explained to me that there's going to be some documents that were going to be sent to my email that I'd have to sign. I would go over to my email and show them to you. Obviously, it has all my information on it, so I will not do that. However, so after I got off the phone with him, I got an email. It wasn't too long after, and I could actually tell you what time that email was. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I've had my email pulled up here on my phone, and it appears that I had that phone call in the morning. I had made the down payment that night too, and I had got the email on the 30th that the down payment was successfully received. And then that my payment that I made for the $250 was also received, and that was, I actually had gotten that email on the 29th, because you make that with a credit card. So they shared a document, the documents with me, and it was at 12:50 p.m. And I know the phone call was around 9 or 10 in the morning. So not too long after, they send you the documents, and you have them signed via DocuSign online. So you just go through and just check a bunch of boxes that you're signing. I do recommend that you read them, just to make sure they're not trying to scam you, which they're not, but just so that way you know what you're signing, because you're signing your name. So make sure you read them. And they give you like 24 hours to do so. And so you can view the document. The only confusing part about the document signing to me is that, so there's some stuff that needed notarized. Well, they have you notarize it online. They actually have you have to have like a webcam and a microphone, and you actually join this chat, and there's a notary there that basically just notarizes your paper online. I was not aware that was something that could be done, but it is, which is nice. However, there are some things that they said they need physical signatures on. So that's what I have on there, is the overnight paperwork. It was, I believe, August 31st that I got this paperwork. So the next day, because I have an email on the August 31st from FedEx that said thank you for the documents require an actual signature, that they would overnight them. I believe I actually got them the next day. So there's some documents that need a physical signature, that an online signature doesn't count. So I believe I got that. They had sent me the email on the 31st. I believe I got the papers on the 1st, and I needed to turn them in by the 2nd. And so I got those, but most of those documents were the same as what was on the DocuSign. So you're basically signing a lot of the same stuff again, and I had to have physically notarize the same thing that I had notarized online. So I'm not sure what the point of doing both is. I kind of just went with it. That was the only thing that I was kind of curious about, per se. So you have 24 hours. I personally know a notary, so it was no big deal for me to get some things notarized. Some people, maybe that's not as easy, but they say 24 hours. I don't know what happens if you don't do it in 24 hours. I think at that point, it's not like you've already given them your down payment. It's not like you're just not going to buy the car if you've given them a down payment. So then on September 2nd, I received my congratulations email. And so it was then, and then they had sent me a congratulations, and they kind of explained, or they gave me an estimated date. And I forgot to mention, when you're on the phone with Vroom the first time, when they had called me on the 30th, they asked if there's any blackout dates and everything, and then they let you know if there's blackout dates. It could take longer. Now, when you have your car delivered, let me hold that off. Let me get to it when I get there instead of skipping ahead. So this email that I received on the 2nd, it gave me an estimated delivery date of 9/14. So if you could see that, I got it on the 13th, but this email gave me an estimated date of the 14th. And then, gives you phone numbers that you can contact them at and everything. And then I received the secure payment on the 6th. They received my payment on the 6th. So I think I had said that was earlier. That was just the deposit. They sent me an email basically saying that they received my payment, which is kind of what they wait for. That process to like send the car, they wait for the payment to be received from my bank, which that was on the 6th of September that they sent me that email. And so you can check at any time on the app, or on you can check your hub on Vroom's website, and it'll kind of give you updates. Now, people have said this, if you looked in reviews, the communication, honestly, from this point on, there isn't much. There's not much, and I think that's kind of why a lot of people maybe give Vroom bad reviews, because they're kind of concerned, well, I've just bought a car, I've spent a lot of money, and now they're not talking to me. Okay, I understand that, but you're buying a car online, and it's got to be shipped to you. So my suggestion is to be patient. So when I got that email that my payment had been received, they had actually, sometime between the 2nd and the 6th on the hub on the website, changed my delivery date and had said that it was going to be delivered like earlier. I don't remember when, but like a week earlier. So I was expecting, kind of, because they had changed that I was going to get the vehicle earlier, which is not the case. So I don't know if it's going to be the case for everybody, but maybe I would consider that first email that you get with a delivery date to expect it on or around that date and not an updated date that they give you. Now, I'm not sure if that's the case for everybody. That was just the case for me. So I had emailed them. You could like email them. There's like a help email or whatever you want to call it. So I emailed them and just said, hey, just what is my delivery status? Because it had then passed. I want to say that it said it was going to be delivered on the 7th. So I emailed them on the 7th. And they just sent back, and it was within 30 minutes, they sent me back an email that said that the estimated delivery date is 9/11 and that the carrier would reach out to me, which I knew was going to be the case, that the carrier was going to reach out. But they hadn't on the 7th, so that's what I had emailed them for. Now, Vroom and their delivery service is separate. They're not the same company. They don't deliver their own vehicles. So sometimes if there's any lack of communication, that's why. It's just because they don't deliver their own vehicles. So I understand that it's kind of hard for the communication to be 100% per se. So, but yeah, there was not much contact between me and Vroom between those dates. They had asked me for one more form of paperwork. I believe it was an insurance information. And all that stuff is done through email. I only talked to somebody on the phone one time, and that was on the 30th. And other than that, I was never on the phone with them. Didn't have to be on the phone with them. Just called them one time. So then came the 11th had passed, and so then I had sent them a message on the sent them a message on the 12th, again asking about an update, and they updated me very quickly and said that it would be sometime between the let me look at the calendar here, because they had said that it was going to be delivered on the 11th, which didn't make sense because that was a Sunday. So they said sometime the week of that week, so between the 12th and the 16th. It's like, okay, it would be nice to have an actual day, because I'm assuming that I had to be there for my car. I'm the buyer, I'm the only person on it, so I was assuming that I'd have to be there to pick it up, which in my case was not the case at all. So they said, hey, it'll be here sometime this week. And then I immediately got an email that switched it over to in transit. So I'll show you here. You can see, I don't know why I'm even bothering showing you this, if you can see it or not, but it goes from preparing to in transit. And so that was on the 12th that it changed to in transit. On the 13th in the morning, I had come home, and my dad was downstairs, and he's like, hey, your car's here. So about 9 in the morning on the 13th, the carrier never called me. In other reviews I've read, it seems like they do. For me, I never got a phone call. They just showed up. However, the only thing that they asked for me when it was delivered was my first name. I asked the driver, do you need my first and last name? He said, if you want. So I don't think it would have mattered who picked it up. They were just there at that address to drop off that car. And in my case, the delivery driver was just a dude with a pickup truck that had a trailer on it, and it looked like he probably had multiple vehicles on it, and my car was the last one. Now I know that it's different, and if you could figure out your carrier beforehand, you could actually get in contact with them and ask them directly what the delivery status is. But I don't think Vroom wants to give that out, just to kind of keep the phone traffic from their carrier, lower or what have you. So then I got my vehicle. I liked it. It was pretty flawless. And actually, just looking back at my information now, there was something I forgot to send them, or I didn't see it originally. But So once you get your vehicle, you're not technically done yet. So the biggest issue, it seems like, with people talking about like having bad reviews for Vroom is the registration process. People not getting their registration for long amounts of time. So I live in Ohio, and the things that they need from me is original VIN inspection, which you get done at the BMV. So anybody that's watching this that lives in Ohio, this may be the case for other states too, but I'm just telling you how Ohio works because I had no idea. You just walk into the BMV, say you need an out-of-state VIN inspection. They literally walk out, it costs you $5. It's extremely easy. And then Vroom sends you, they need the actual original document. So they email you a shipping label to overnight it for FedEx. They also asked me for a buyer's power of attorney. Now, I happened to see my original VIN inspection email late. So I went to the BMV, got it, and was ready to send it, and then got the email that they needed the power of attorney. Now, they give you that document. That's the only thing I'm unsure about. I filled out my side. There's a section for the BMV to fill out, which I did not, because it looked like on Vroom's email that they just needed that paper signed. So I sent it over, and I'm still awaiting anything from them. It should have been overnighted yesterday, and they should have gotten the paperwork today. So my thinking is, now I could be incorrect, but my thinking is that maybe some people that are not getting their registration maybe are not sending in these documents, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, and I'll do an update video when that comes. But regardless, I mean, the whole process took 15 days for me from the day that I decided I want to buy this vehicle, which honestly is, you may say, more like 14 days, because the 29th was really late, and if I would have done it in the morning, I probably would have heard back that day. So I would expect 2 weeks approximately. Now, I was quick with everything. I got everything done and sent it to them very quick. Obviously, if you're spending time reviewing documents and you take longer than the 24 hours, then it would probably take longer for you to get your vehicle. I just wanted my car, so I did things about as quick as I could. And yeah, it took about 2 weeks. So I kind of want to address some complaints that I've heard. People complain about, like, the speed of Vroom, or the communication of Vroom, and, how much they communicate. I didn't really have an issue with that. I mean, there's not really much to communicate about. I mean, if you want a step-by-step, my car's like a UPS tracking, my car's now in Lubbock, Texas, and now my car's in St. Louis, Missouri, you're not going to get that. So if you are expecting that, then yeah, you might not be too happy with Vroom. But my suggestion is to not expect that. I bought a car and I received it 2 weeks later, and I only had to talk to somebody on the phone one time. So to me, that's a pretty nice experience. The only thing I'll say is I cannot speak for the quality of vehicles on Vroom. I can't speak for them. For my car, I knew that I was pretty safe in buying it because I had 1,800 miles on it. It had 1,800 miles on it. So, and it's a 2020, still under factory warranty. So I wasn't worried about getting a car that had been beat and not taken care of, because I saw the pictures. They looked brand new. When I got the vehicle, it needed washed. It was not, it looked like a vehicle that had been washed and then had sat for a while, which I think is the case, because Vroom had my vehicle for a while, and that's kind of what it looked like. It's not spotless, but my car's also different because it was so new. So if you had a car that wasn't taken care of and then Vroom got it, I don't know how much they'd clean it. To be honest with you, I wouldn't really care whether it's dirty or not, because I like cleaning a car when I get it anyways. So I can't speak for the quality of vehicles on Vroom as a whole. I don't know. There may be good ones, there may be bad ones. I'm not sure. I got a low mileage car. It was safer. So I suggest, I guess, if you're looking at buying a car, that you buy a lower mileage vehicle if possible. But overall, my experience with Vroom had no problems with it. Absolutely, I'd do it again. for multiple reasons. And those reasons are, one, I don't have to go to a dealership and deal with used car salesmen, which are, to me, annoying. And two is finding a vehicle that is right for you without having to travel across the country to get it. Now, if you're buying a car that is extremely, extremely common, I can't think of a good example, but extremely common, then maybe it's not as important. But say you're looking for a vehicle that is... Now, I'm also not talking about something extremely rare either, because I was intrigued about or interested in buying a Focus RS, which, never mind, apparently they actually have a decent amount of them. So here's the thing, you know, say you're looking for a Focus RS and you want one that has a low amount of miles. Well, here's a great example. It's, you know, got 10,000 miles on it, and I've noticed that prices seem to be pretty comparable on Vroom. They're pretty good pricing. And I mean, I suggest for you to compare. If you get a good deal and there's a dealership that's 20 miles away, then obviously do that. I think it's just another tool to use for looking for vehicles that are easier to get than, you know, say I want this Focus RS right here. This is the one I want. Well, a dealership's got the similar one, but it's across the country. Well, how are you going to get it then? Are you going to fly out there, test drive it, then not like it? Where with Vroom, you can buy it, comes to your door. If you don't like it, you can return it. I don't know how easy the return process is, but they do have a return process. So yeah, I mean, I hope this helps people that are thinking about buying a car on Vroom, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions in the comments. So just comment. I'll do my best to answer a question. I'll probably do a follow-up video on the registration, and I'm going to do a follow-up video on my vehicle itself, and how happy I am with that. But yes, if you ask me, will I buy a car from Vroom again? Yes, if I'm looking to buy a car. Now, I don't know if I was buying a Focus RS or something more expensive, if I'd use them or not. But for especially for a daily driver, getting something cheap, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. So yes, I would recommend Vroom. If Carvana is the same way, then I would recommend them, but I can't speak for Carvana because I don't know. I didn't buy a car from Carvana. But yeah, anyways, I thank you guys for watching. Again, any questions, please comment down below. Feel free to like this video if you enjoyed it, if you thought the information was good. We get this video out to more people. I mean, I'm not sponsored. Vroom's not paying me. This is my first video on YouTube. They're not paying me to say this. I kind of, after seeing all the negative reviews, I kind of wanted to put a video out there that was saying, hey, I didn't have a terrible experience. I don't want anybody I want people to be able to get the vehicle that they want. And I don't want people to be scared of buying a car from a company where I had such a good experience. Maybe that's rare, but I had a good experience. So, and again, sorry for the delay in this outro. Any questions, put them in the comments. Like this video so that way it gets out to other people. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks. Bye.